Good morning. This is your friendly neighborhood indie rapper, Open Mike Eagle. I just had a breakfast, which was a bunch of fruit and yogurt in a bowl, and I gotta say, it's getting harder and harder to get through a bag of trail mix these days without hearing something preposterous. Lil Wayne said with his mouth to another person on purpose that he didn't know that Kendrick's smash hit song, Not Like Us, is about Drake, even though it says Drake's name in it a bunch of times. And if this sounds weird to you, it should, because it's probably a lie. We're going to find the quote because when you talk about quotes that you haven't read, that's how you get put in a trick bag. And around here, we don't like getting put in a trick bag. Let's see what he actually said. I went on stage and I was singing this song and they thought I was dissing, he said, clarifying that he wasn't even aware it was a diss against his longtime collaborator and friend Drake. Are they still friends? I ain't want my dude to be mad at me. I didn't even know it was Kendrick, he added. So one of two things is happening here. He's either lying or he's higher than anyone has ever been on planet Earth and he need to go back to the hospital. Like something's wrong. If he's that high, something's wrong. Some of y'all might believe him, right? That he didn't know that this song was about Drake. And to you people, you kind, wonderful people, you, and let me try to say this in the nicest way possible. Good luck in life. Good luck crossing the street. Good luck voting. And if you want to try to convince me or others in the comments that he's telling the truth, please feel free to, but just understand I'm not going to debate you because I think that's lunacy. But let's just entertain it for a moment. Let's just pretend that Wayne didn't know that this song was about Drake. And for this to be true, right, he would have to be like unusually high, like I said, higher than anyone's been on Earth or Mars, right? If you're Wayne, you have to put Mars into the equation, but you'd have to be like so high that you don't know how shoes work anymore, like high enough to where it's like 2 in the afternoon and you sort of wake up under a table. Like, how did I get here? Like that level of high. Like there's a lot of people in this world who get really, really high. You know, Willie Nelson, Snoop Dogg, my buddy Video Dave, right? I bet all of those people know what Not Like Us is about. And are you saying that you're exponentially higher than Willie Nelson? Like, I understand that musicians, public figures, often are put in positions where the best thing to do is to lie, but you have to be careful with your lies. You don't want to tell a lie that's so nutty that if people believe it, it paints the picture that there's something wrong with you and you need to go to the hospital. Like, you have to be careful. And there's a little bit of like cognitive dissonance here, right? Because if you want people to believe that you're so high out of this world that you don't understand basic facts of popular culture, then you also can't be surprised when you don't get booked to perform at the Super Bowl, because then the understanding might be on the booking side that if you do get booked, you might forget what football is or what an arena is or what a microphone is. And if any of those things happened, they couldn't be surprised because it's Lil Wayne. He doesn't know how shoes work. Like, they could believe that if they invited you to the Super Bowl, you might think that you're playing for one of the teams, like that you're not even coming to be a musician. Like, you might have forgotten and brought a referee shirt and a whistle because you didn't understand what your role was in the proceedings. And I get it. People lie. Musicians lie. Musicians often lie to protect themselves or protect a relationship or to mythologize. One would imagine in this situation, Wayne is telling this lie to protect his relationship with Drake. You even see in the quote, he says, I didn't want my guy to be mad at me. So what happened was Lil Wayne was probably somewhere on stage practicing kickflips, saying Not Like Us, because he's at his show and he's got a microphone. He can say whatever he wants to say. And then somebody texted Drake saying, hey, you heard Lil Wayne was practicing kickflips and singing Not Like Us on stage? And Drake got mad and texted Wayne like, what's up, brother? What's up, friend? And then friend in friend in quotation marks. What are you doing up there on stage? And Wayne is like, I didn't even know that was about you. And then he told that lie to Drake, and he has just stuck with that lie. It's like the Trump playbook. You pick a lie and you just stick with it forever, even if it makes you look nutty and that you need to go to the hospital. And I hate that this is the situation that we're in, that he feels like he needs to lie to protect this relationship, and now he needs to lie to protect his reputation and the public assessment of his friendship with Drake. Because I wish that we lived in a world where it was easier for you to tell a complicated truth. Because what I'm willing to bet is the complicated truth is Wayne does really still have a lot of admiration and affection for Drake, but he also likes the song Not Like Us and thinks it's a good song. And every now and then the hook for Not Like Us plays in Wayne's head because it's an earworm, because it's catchy, because it's a foot tapper. Now I wish that he was able to just say that, like, oh dog, my bad. I like that song a little bit, and my fault for singing it publicly. But instead, he has to say, I didn't even know that was about Drake, which is way worse because Drake doesn't even believe that. So if you were worried, for instance, about Drake suing you while pouting, he's still going to sue you while pouting because what you said is not something believable that's going to get him to turn that frown upside down and leave the courtroom. But unfortunately, musicians lie, public figures lie. Musicians have been lying for years. Retirements, those are always lies. Those are never the truth. Rappers' lyrics, rappers' entire songs, they're just filled with lies. Just filled with lies. At this point, you have to assume that most bars are lies. But it's not even just rap. Here, check. I found a list of some of the most egregious lies that musicians have told ever. So check this out. Musicians that have lied about their backstories. Look at this. Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan lied and said he used to work with the carnival growing up, and he told that lie for years into his career, then had to admit he was lying. Marvin Pontiac, that's a whole musician that didn't exist, that John Lurie made up. Jim Morrison from The Doors, he lied and said his parents were dead to the point where his parents were reading, that he was saying publicly that they were dead, but they were not dead because they were alive and able to read. Lou Reed says, I lied so much about the past, I can't even tell myself what is true anymore. The White Stripes, when they debuted, they said they were siblings when they were actually married. The quote is, when you see a band that is two pieces, husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, you think, oh, I see. When they're brother and sister, you go, oh, that's interesting, he told Rolling Stone. So he had to rationalize why he was telling the weird lie that his wife was his sister. I've even lied before. I remember one time I had a show in Lansing, Michigan that I canceled, right? And when I canceled it publicly, I said, due to unforeseen circumstances, I've had to postpone this show. And that was like kind of true, but it was also kind of a lie, because what happened was I got booked to appear on Hannibal Buress's old Comedy Central show where I was performing alongside Thundercat and Flying Lotus. And could I control that date? No. But I could pick which one of those things I wanted to do more on that day. I happened to pick performing on television with incredible musicians, but I couldn't say that. So I had to lie and say it was due to something vague. But again, let's just pretend that that Wayne didn't know that Not Like Us was about Drake. Let's just pretend. There's good news here. There's a silver lining. If you're an up and coming rapper, it's probably really easy to trick Lil Wayne into doing a feature for you. If you're a young and emerging rap star, all you got to do is create a fake email and pretend that you're the manager of international rap superstar Poppy Deuteronomy. And you can say, you can write a message saying, Poppy Deuteronomy looking for Lil Wayne's feature rate for a collabo. And then in the body of the email, you make up a bunch of fake stats about international rap star Poppy Deuteronomy. And it's all fake because that person doesn't exist. Lil Wayne might just think that he forgot all that stuff when it happened. Like when the Goodyear blimp said, Poppy Deuteronomy for president, and when Poppy Deuteronomy dunked on LeBron James in the Tide commercial, and Poppy Deuteronomy won an Oscar for his portrayal of Morgan Freeman in the making of Shawshank Redemption. See, you can just say all that stuff happened in the email, and Wayne will just think he forgot. You can convince him. You can get a feature for the low. Like and subscribe, homie, friend. It's free. Stop playing.